This update is strictly classified. If you are watching this, you're fired.
For the record, this is currently the only Ratchet & Clank game I own, and even though this one came out in 2003, I only picked it up about,
6 months ago.
And from the time this video is uploaded... Wow, that's pretty accurate! The game starts off with Ratchet & Clank being interviewed over what they've done since the victory from their first game.
Yesterday, I flushed out my radiator core.
Yeah, sadly it's not very interesting. Until Mr. Fizzwidget hires them to do a job for him. He needs Ratchet & Clank to hunt down a project that was stolen from him. The Proto-Pet. The plot thickens as you find out more about what this project actually is.
Introducing the Megacore Proto-Pet. Your child will shriek with joy when he meets our adorable friend. Wanna play ball? So does the Proto-Pet. Need a partner for tag? Go find the Proto-Pet. Up for some cops and robbers?
Help! Police!
So is you-know-who. Just ask Billy.
So yeah, the whole Bolgon galaxy is at risk with these creatures that are supposed to be sold off as pets. Okay, that's a lighthearted approach to universal destruction, but at least it's different. If you were to simply label this as an action platforming game,
you're a big, fat liar.
Well, it does focus a lot on action and platforming, but you can't forget about the other elements they put in this game.
Indubitably.
You have some RPG-like elements, such as being able to increase your health bar, or even your weapons. See that little red bar at the bottom of your health? Well, when it fills up, you'll earn another extra piece of health. To increase the little bar, you just have to keep destroying enemies. The weapons work in the same manner. They also have a little bar, and every time you use that weapon, the meter fills up. Once it reaches all the way, you'll get a weapon with more abilities. You'll have some puzzle elements, such as making sure these sparks get in the right tube, or finding the lines that connect through the sphere. There are times where you'll have to get into some spaceflight combat, and even hang gliding. There's a few races here and there, and when you get to play as Clank, he has two different kind of gameplay styles. It's either a giant robot fight, or you get to walk around and have him control other robots to do his bidding, such as attacking, lifting, or making a bridge. But those events are few and far between, except for the RPG elements. Most of the time you'll be focusing on platforming and your weapons. There's your traditional platforming with a second jump that seems almost non-existent. When Clank is with you, you'll have the ability to jump a little bit higher and a little bit farther. And there are also some platforms that you'll need a weapon to create, or to swing from, or to freeze the water and slide on. While the platforming is creative at times, it's just not that challenging. Except for the grinding part, the gunfights on the other hand, make up for that. In my own opinion, there are three distinct features that have made this series an instant classic. The first being the presentation. It's top-notch from beginning to end. Environments feel lively, and the characters move with a lot of fluidity.
Affirmulous.
The only part of the presentation that doesn't seem to be that good is the music. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad, it's just not very catchy or memorable. Then there's one of the most important elements in the game, the weapons. Each weapon has a different function, from your traditional gun to a bit more creative ones, like the multi-ball bouncer. When it hits, it spreads out multi-bombs that chase after the nearest enemy, or the plasma storm that bounces off walls and shocks enemies and objects. And even the Black Sheepinator. It turns your enemies into black sheep and have other enemies attack that sheep, and when they're hit, they blow up. It should have been called the Scapegoat. The weapons are fun to play around with. It can even give you a sense of strategy depending on which ones you want to use. Then there's one of the best features this game has to offer. It's humor.
If he can't make it past our gladiators, he'll receive a consolation prize.
Hey, who let you in here? Get lost before I flatten your robot into a hubcap.
Touch him, and it's Plasma City!
Oh gosh, you didn't have to yell. Why did he have to yell?
Hey man.
I can't hear you. La 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 la. I have a personal interest in seeing them rubbed out, so I'm offering a free pizza party to the squad who bags them.
Free pizza party? I want to work for that guy! I don't really have a lot of problems with this game, but I do have a few nitpicks. some of the other elements seem a bit weak, especially in Clank's gameplay. Fortunately, you don't get to play as him that much. And even when you do, they're pretty short and they're not horrible to play. And since it doesn't overshadow the real platforming of the game, there's no real problem with it.
Did that make any sense?
Playing with the hang gliding just, well, movement felt a little odd. Can't quite put my finger on it, but the controls just don't feel as smooth as it should. It's not terrible, but it could have been a little better. The spaceflight parts, well, they're not that challenging, and the AI is completely horrible. All you have to do is turn in the opposite direction of where you're going, and the enemies will come out in front of you. The only thing that can almost really get in the way sometimes is using the second analog control stick to control the camera. Only because the camera seems to move a little slow. And when you're getting hit by enemies off screen, and you can't turn the camera fast enough to see them, it can create a little frustration. It doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. Ratchet and Clank Going Commando is a solid game to pick up. There were times where I had gotten lost and didn't know what to do. But all I ever had to do to correct that was just look up the objectives and complete one of them, which would then help me out. There's plenty of stuff to collect, and plenty of accomplishments to unlock, giving players a lot of replay value. While I thought the story at first wasn't really making that much sense, once you get to the end, you really have to admire what they did. It's actually pretty creative, much like the rest of the game. And just when I beat the game and thought I can't play it anymore, it came up with the offer of being able to play it on a much harder difficulty while earning over 10 times the amount of bullets you earn, and even having mega upgrades to your weapons. I love it when games do that! It'll probably be a while before I check out the other Ratchet and Clank games, but I do have interest in going to check them out.
You did great.
A 5 out of 5. It's a great game to add to your collection.